is she corrupt?
Y'all forget I am the leader. They want to hear from the mayor. If y'all ain't learned that yet, the mayor, not the trustees that don't do nothing, that only run their mouth. Y'all don't do no work.
Tiffany Henyard considers herself something of a crusader, but one who's clearly annoyed by questions from a rebellious group of Dalton trustees who are in a standoff with her over spending.
At the end of the day, vendors are not being paid. Board approved it. The vendors are not being paid.
How about you be a good leader, bring RFPs to the forefront, so not just us, but the residents and everybody else in America know how the money is being spent.
WGN Investigates has cataloged tens of thousands of taxpayer dollars spent on trips, meals, and more by Tiffany Henyard and her allies in Dalton and on the Thornton Township Board, where she's the supervisor. Township credit card records show Henyard and other officials spent more than $67,000 on trips to Portland, Austin, Atlanta, and New York City. Many of the flights were first class. So were the accommodations. In Atlanta, Henyard and her team stayed at the Four Seasons Hotel, costing taxpayers more than $9,000. In New York, the bill came to $13,000. Henyard has refused to explain the specific purpose of the trips or why they travel in such style, but she appeared to refer to our reporting at Monday's Dalton meeting.
But everything we do for the people. But we under attack. We getting scrutinized in the media. For what? Loving on the people? Showing them that they matter to us? We going through the fires for y'all.
Henyard calls her critics grandstanders who should get in line.
Y'all should be ashamed of yourself. Y'all.
I have not felt rubbed the wrong way to this extent in a long time. A very long time. This woman makes my skin crawl. Like, I'm not sure if she's misusing money or embezzling funds. I have my theories about it. But what I am sure of is one thing. She has a stank attitude. Stank. She calls herself super mayor. And she brags and beats the drum and beats the table about how she is some amazing person because she's a black woman in power, and because of that, everyone should respect her. Listen, I'm happy to see I'm happy for her success, but you're there to be a public servant. You're not there to take first-class flights and eat caviar and get your lashes done on public funds.
And to flex.
You're not there to flex. You're there to serve the people. And this woman gives me the vibes that she's there for herself and there to flex and to live the good life.
Look at the way that she talks to people.
Bro.
It's crazy. It's like literally like she's a mob boss.
Yes.
The way that she like points, I'm like, come on, man.
Dude.
Come on.
Listen, I understand that to get to, okay, so let's be honest. Most politicians, I know this word I'm about to use is way overused.
Yeah.
Way overused. A lot of politicians have narcissistic behaviors.
Oh, of course.
That's how they got to that position.
Of course.
So I'm not surprised that she's very aggressive and assertive and, let's say, dominant, but
Yeah.
she's off-putting. You don't talk to your constituents that way. So she rubs me the wrong way, and I think she did it. Allegedly.
I mean, my thing is this: like, how did someone like that get put in power? Like, what was checked? Like, did no one screen her out? Like, she's like the most unpolitical person, and just think about, like, I know we have Trump, and Trump was pretty unpolitical, but Trump also has a lot of money and was known very well. Like, I mean, his whole presidency is kind of like, how did this happen? But like for someone who's on the lower level of this, I don't understand how this happened. Like, how can you spend hundreds of thousands of dollars and then people are just kind of like, how was it able to get this far? Like, you ignored the first class ticket?
I think most people are uninformed. That's the first thing. I think secondly, I don't know who she ran against for the mayorship. If they were a non-black person, I think that right there explains to me how she won. If she's in a predominantly black city or county, what is it, Dalton, whatever, locale, and it's a primarily black constituency, and she ran against a white or non-black person, I think she probably ran on the fact that she's a black woman and vote for her because of that, and partly got it. And listen, I'm not saying, look, I'm not trying to say that, I'm just saying I'm trying to think of why that she might have gone to office.
Yeah.
Or she could have just put a face on and said all these sweet, nice things and got in there and started taking first-class flights with a pinky up and champagne. We don't know how she came and presented herself in the beginning.
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you're right, because who goes to a job interview and presents their worst self?
Exactly.
So I mean that does make sense.
Yeah.
That I can definitely get that. I just hate when people use that as a like
I know.
as like their trump card. Like
Yeah.
you don't like me because of X. You don't like me because I'm a black person. You don't like
Yeah.
me because of the. And the thing is that I hate about it so much is that when you have real cases that are actually that, people don't even want to listen to you.
Yep.
Like for example, if you bring up anything regarding like racism in the United States, you're gonna piss off so many people who are like non-black and not like, because to them they're like, well, we've heard you say it for everything.
Right.
We've heard you say it when you stole something and got away with it. We heard you say it when you know it didn't regard to this situation. So now they don't take it. Now it's like a joke.
Yeah.
And now they find it annoying because they've seen you misuse it so many times.
Yeah.
And at this point, it's like, can you really blame them if 90% of the things that they hear sound like BS? So I mean, it's really, she's shooting herself in their foot, and then she's hurting her community at the same time because she's using it as an excuse to cover her BS, and that's what it is. It's BS. She's flying singers out and all this other like crazy stuff.
I didn't hear that one.
Yeah, it's in there.
Dang. I know she got the whole police department watching over her. They're not patrolling the streets. They're all on her caravan. It's crazy.
Could you imagine that? Like you call the police and then you hear in the background, they're at her house.
This is the clincher for me. Okay, and this is still being not investigated. This still hasn't come. We don't know what happened yet. But essentially, she has a cancer foundation or a cancer charity that has her name on it. It's her name. It's her cancer charity. And there has been no there's been no providing of required financial documents. And so now the Attorney General has their foot on her neck and gave her a deadline to present those financials. So that'll be, I think we'll see at that point what's really going on, at least to an extent.
Well, she's evil if she did that. I'm sorry. I think you should go to jail for like at least 10 years to do it, because that's sick. That is truly a sick person.
Yeah.
That you make up, and like I said, I don't know if this is true or not. Maybe she didn't do this. Mm-hmm. But if you were to make up a fake fund for sick people who have cancer, and I'm donating money to you because I think it's going towards people who have cancer, and it's just going to your wallet, throw them under the bridge. I'm sorry, that's terrible.
That's awful.
That is probably the most foul thing you can do. That to me is evil, because it's like you're taking advantage of people's kindness, and on top of it, it's like you're spitting in the face of people who actually are sick, because it's like you're teasing them. You're like, oh, look at all this money that we built for you, and then you don't see any of it. It's kind of like, you guys ever see those commercials in Africa where they're like, no, seriously, it's terrible. The Feed the Children commercials or whatever, and they're like, oh, we're going to send all this stuff to Africa, all this stuff like that. And if you ever talk to any of those kids, they've never seen it. They've never seen half the stuff. And it's infuriating. It's like, where is all this money going to?
Yeah, my cousins aren't getting it, so y'all need to, I don't know what's going on. I'm not playing. But no, you're right. You're 100% right. That is one of the worst things you can do.
It's evil.
So if it is true,
evil.
It is evil. We're not saying that. Again, we always have to say it's alleged because we don't know.
Allegedly.
It's alleged. There's been no proof. Nothing's come out yet. But if it's true.
There's no proof, but it still looks bad.
Oh, yeah, it looks bad. Oh, it looks terrible. Anyway.
All right, guys. So ultimately, I think she deserves the biggest L. I think she's made all the bad decisions. I can't see how she's made a right one. So what do you think? Good decision, bad decision?
Like I said, I'm gonna say bad decision just off the strength of her attitude. I just don't like it. Like, just have some
class, some decency.
Yeah, like you're yelling at people like they're your children in that that council meeting or whatever the heck it was. Like, come on, and these are grown folks, grown black men. I said, look at me, sound like grown men and women. They just happen to be black from what I saw, but grown men and women, you over yelling at them like they're your kids, and they got a cookie from the cookie jar or something they weren't supposed to. So, bad decision. And if she did take the money and she's using it inappropriately, bad decision.
She need to go to jail.
Yeah, I'm done. Yes.
Prison.
All
right, decision makers. If you think she made a good decision, you probably spend the money too. If you think she made a bad decision, then you're probably right. All right, decision makers. Don't misuse money.